Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing in our top story. During meetings with federal officials last week to discuss issues related to the Virgin Islands, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett said she raised the question of identified miscalculations of the rum cover revenue allocation, which may have shortchanged the Virgin Islands general fund by as much as $100 million. Here's more from a press conference. During meetings with federal officials last week, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett said she raised the question of identified miscalculations of the rum cover revenue allocation.
We should aggressively go after the monies that should have been given to us due to what is called the Caribbean Basin Initiative allocation, which could be as high as $100 million that is owed to the territory.
Plaskett, who met with House Speaker Paul Ryan on Tuesday to discuss the Virgin Islands' financial condition, said she met later in the week with Department of Interior and Treasury Department officials to discuss federal government support of the local government's effort to overcome its financial challenges.
And at the end of the meeting, I was able to bring up an issue that our office had been working on for some time. We were made apprised that it was the belief of quite a number of individuals that the Virgin Islands was not receiving its fair share of money from the rum cover-over. As you are aware, the monies that the Virgin Islands, the production of rum coming from the Virgin Islands, as well as the production of rum coming from Puerto Rico going to the United States, we receive a portion of that money back to each one of our treasuries. The Puerto Rico government receives the monies from the production of their own rum, and the Virgin Islands government receives a portion of monies from the rum that it produced that goes to the United States. Additionally, the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico split between them monies that come from the worldwide rum that is brought into the United States. And that division of percentages is based on the amount of production that each one of the territories has been doing in previous years. Now there is a floor and a ceiling in those percentages, and between the floor and the ceiling, based on the amount of production, should be the amount of monies that a territory, the Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico, receives. This was, in fact, one of the reasons why the Puerto Rico was so adamant about trying to keep the Diageo agreement from coming online, because they knew that it would reduce the amount of rum not only that they would be receiving from the Diageo plant itself, but it would change the percentages of worldwide rum and the percentages of rum that the Virgin Islands was producing, which would in turn impact the amount of money that they were receiving. When we have been doing calculations on this, from the time that Diageo has begun working on producing rum that is going into the United States, as well as our aggressive work with Crucian Rum in its production, we noted that even by Puerto Rico's own admission in its SEC filings, that the amount of money has changed tremendously over time. However, the Virgin Islands amount of money that it is receiving from this worldwide production has not changed at all. And we believe that this can be upwards of $100 million in monies that should have been coming to the Virgin Islands from the Treasury Department.
Delegate Plaskett says they have made Treasury aware of this and have asked them to recalculate the money. She said she has forwarded the information to Governor Mapp, PFA, and the VI legislature to point out what appears to be a terrible disservice done to the VI through this. Turning to crime reports, on February 5th at approximately 4:15 a.m., officers were dispatched by 911 emergency call center to a discharging of shots in Golden Rock in the vicinity of John F. Kennedy housing. Officers discovered shell casings and broken glasses in the area. The officers on the scene were notified by the emergency call center of a female victim who was transported by private vehicle to the Louis Hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. The officers traveled to the hospital for a statement from the victim. She said she had just left a nightclub and did not have any altercation with anyone and don't know why she was targeted. She was treated for her injuries and further observations by the hospital's ER staff. This investigation is ongoing. Be sure to call police if you can assist. Meanwhile, this investigation continues. Police say on Sunday, February 5th, at approximately 4:11 p.m., the 911 emergency call center was notified of shots being fired in the vicinity of Smith Bay. Here's more.
Shortly after, 3 male victims arrived at the Roy Lester Schneider Regional Medical Center emergency room with gunshot wounds about their bodies. The 3 victims were transported by private vehicle. Contact was made with one of the male individuals who stated that while they were sitting on a corner in the area of the Old Romanos restaurant, a gray-colored vehicle drove by with masked men of the same beginning firing shots towards them. The other male individuals did not give any information on this shooting. The 3 males sustained several gunshot wounds about their bodies and were treated for their injuries. If you have any information on this case or any other cases in the territory, you can call the Crime Investigations Bureau at 340-774-2211. You can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911.
CAPA, the Community and Police Association, they're hosting a meeting this Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the Church of God of Prophecy at Foster's Plaza with Pastor Eddie in Smith Bay. Now, VIPD have been invited to attend, so residents can attend and sound off, as well as the Virgin Islands Clergy Peace Coalition. They will be there. They want to address any and all issues the community may have dealing with crime and discuss any and all community concerns in the Smith Bay area. And the goal, of course, is to provide solutions. Meanwhile, police are looking for 19-year-old Samuel Roberts. Roberts is a person of interest in a homicide. Samuel Roberts goes by the alias Ghost. Roberts is a black male, height about 5'6" to 5'9", weighs 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes with a low haircut. Places frequented includes Lorraine Village, Mutual Homes, Estate Tortola, all located in Grove Place. Roberts is armed and dangerous, according to VIPD. If you come in contact with Samuel Ghost Roberts, please contact the Criminal Investigation Bureau at 340-778-2211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911. On Friday, February 3rd at roughly 8:36 p.m., officers traveled to the area of the Western Cemetery after a citizen reported an attempted robbery. The investigation units traveled to the area of Petra's Gas, where they made contact with a victim who explained that while driving an individual in the area of Altona and Wellgunst, he stopped his vehicle and was approached by a gunman who pointed a firearm to his head and demanded his money. He then explained that he drove southward onto Veterans Drive and was able to escape the mugger. The victim also told police that he heard shots fired while driving away, which caused damage to his vehicle. Call any one of the numbers there if you can assist. Senate Vice President and Chairwoman of the Committee on Health, Hospitals, and Human Services, Senator Narida O'Reilly, has scheduled a public hearing on Friday, February 24th, 10 a.m. in the Irby Otley Legislative Hall. The committee will hear from Acting Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Department of Human Services, Ms. Felicia Blyden, and the Roy L. Schneider Regional Medical Center's executive team. Department of Human Services will focus on the medical assistance program and federal grants. The executive team will testify about the financial challenges of the Schneider Regional Medical Center, as well as a plan of action regarding the Charlotte Kimmerman Cancer Center, hemodialysis unit, psychiatric ward, and other related issues. President Trump is facing renewed criticism over his relationship with Russia. This weekend, Trump seemed to justify Putin's unseemly behavior. Scott McLean has more on what he said.
Better to get along with Russia than not.
President Trump has long defended the idea of a better relationship with Russia. But in an interview that aired this weekend, he seemed to defend the actions of President Vladimir Putin.
He's a killer, though. Putin's a killer. A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? You think our country's so innocent?
That exchange with Fox News host Bill O'Reilly is drawing harsh criticism in Washington, even from Republicans.
Let's be clear. Has the U.S. ever made any mistakes? Of course. Is the U.S. at all like Putin's regime? Not at all.
Trump has made similar comments before, back in 2015 on MSNBC.
He kills journalists that don't agree with him.
Well, I think our country does plenty of killing also, Joe.
But this time Trump is in office and responsible for Washington's complex relationship with Moscow. Trump spoke with Putin in late January, resolving to meet face-to-face and to work together to fight terrorism. But there are still big problems, like Russian military action in Ukraine.
We're watching and very troubled by the increased hostilities over the past week in eastern Ukraine.
Meanwhile, Russia is calling for an apology from Fox News, saying O'Reilly's words were, quote, unacceptable and offensive. As for Trump's statements, the Kremlin had no comment. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
Keeping our eye on the economy, the tech industry is bracing for President Donald Trump's visa reform, a draft proposal of an executive order that would impact H-1B business visitor visas, investor visas, and work visas for so-called dreamers has been circulating for a few weeks. The H-1B visa program is a gold mine for tech companies as a popular pathway to employ high-skilled foreign workers in the U.S. Engineers, doctors, journalists, and professors also vie for a coveted spot among the annual 85,000 selected. The draft mandates the Secretary of Homeland Security to produce a report within 90 days to review regulations of all work visa programs. It's not yet clear what the possible executive order may entail. Let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with Stock Market Watch. Everything down. The Dow down 19, NASDAQ down 3, S&P 500 down 8. Coming up on News 2, we continue our Black History Month recognition and much more. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, just a reminder, the Virginia-based information technology system, Omni Systems, Inc., they're holding their third Techno Expo in the USVI at the Marriott Frenchman's Reef. It kicks off on Tuesday with a press conference at 8 a.m. Here's more.
It's important because it's keeping you up to date in the latest technology, especially in the area of cybersecurity and cloud computing. And so we have vendors that came into the territory that would speak on these different issues, as well as experts from our company, Omni Systems.
An opportunity for them to interact directly with technology vendors and with a technology firm that understands the infrastructure of the Virgin Islands, that is able to recommend to them best practices based on the way they have their systems set up currently. And because it's free, they're bringing the services to the community versus what it would cost to fly off island to get this information at a paid conference. So we just really encourage everyone to come out and take advantage of this service that Omni Systems is providing, because it is free of charge.
And just a reminder, the Honorable Sonia Sotomayor, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, will be visiting the territory in celebration of the Transfer Day Centennial, and the first event will be held on February 7th at the Arthur Abel Complex in Frederiksted, then Wednesday, February 8th at the Cardiac Center, Juan Louis Hospital at 6 p.m. On St. Thomas, Thursday, February 9th at the Frenchman's Reef, 6 p.m. And earlier in the day, UVI convocation featuring Sotomayor from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. in the Sports and Fitness Center on the St. Thomas campus. The Honorable Sonia Sotomayor, the first U.S. Supreme Court Justice of Hispanic heritage, assumed the position of Associate Justice of the Supreme Court on August 8, 2009, after being nominated by President Barack Obama. Her previous judicial appointments were on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit from 1998 to 2009, and the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York from 1992 to 1998. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter announces that the government of the Virgin Islands entities, the banking, insurance, and financial services industries, as well as the general public, that Governor Mapp has signed into law Act number 7962, which changed the name of the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, Division of Banking and Insurance, to Division of Banking, Insurance, and Financial Regulation, effective immediately. The division's name has been changed to more clearly represent the division's numerous legislative responsibilities, he said. Over the years, the division has been giving additional legislative mandates. In addition to banking and insurance, the division now regulates securities, money transmitters, mortgage lenders and brokers, mortgage loan originators, and debt management services. Well, the team has earned an AFA State Award by placing among the top 3 teams in state location during the CPX-IX state round. Be advised that they will be sending certificates at the conclusion of the season for the Cyber Patriots, along with any additional awards that they may win in the upcoming round. We want to congratulate the local Air Force Association representatives, region and state presidents of our team's achievement. They did a wonderful job. In some cases, these representatives may request that the award be sent to them for presentation, so we may get to see that in any regard. So congratulations to the Cyber Patriots. Now for a moment in Black history. Well, the U.S. Virgin Islands was well represented when President Barack Obama officially opened the Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. in September 2016. Its towering, unique presence sits prominently next to the Washington Monument. Among the many static and interactive displays spanning several hundred years of African American history are 2 musical instruments, a flute and piccolo, of U.S. Virgin Islands pioneer and bandmaster, Mr. Alton Augustus Adams Sr. These 2 instruments are of national and territorial significance as they were played during a formal ceremonial transfer of the territory from the Kingdom of Denmark to the United States of America almost a century ago. Adams, an avid composer and journalist, is known for creating the Virgin Islands March and only known free black silversmith Peter Benson's pair of teaspoons crafted from American coined silver during the time of slavery in America. Well, the Smith Bay community, they held their Ag Fair this past Saturday at the Smith Bay Ball Field. It was well attended. It was held from about 1 to 6 p.m. There was lots of food, fun, arts and crafts, vendors, and of course, locally grown fruits and vegetables. And this was fun for everyone. Lots of entertainment for the young ones, including bouncers, live entertainment, and more. And they're hoping to make this an annual tradition and encourage more people to participate as vendors. Super Bowl 51 was a roller coaster of a game, breaking records in Houston and hearts in Atlanta and leaving fans beaming in Beantown. Reed Binion reports.
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! The New England Patriots becoming Super Bowl champions for the 5th time, beating the Atlanta Falcons 34-28. The roller coaster showdown was a game of firsts. Tom Brady becoming the first quarterback to win 5 Super Bowl titles.
We're bringing this sucker home! Tom Brady!
And the big game itself, the first ever to require overtime. The Patriots also securing the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. Atlanta's stunning loss coming after a strong first half and leading New England 28-3 midway through the 3rd quarter. The game's outcome leaving Patriots fans ecstatic.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
And Falcons fans dejected.
Hey, Atlanta. It's not a good night.
Brutal, man. It's brutal.
I'm sad. Really sad.
But the game was about much more than just the comebacks, tackles, and touchdowns. Halftime was a high-flying musical blowout featuring Lady Gaga. And the spectators were joined by VIP guests, including former President and First Lady George H.W. and Barbara Bush. Bush carrying out the official coin toss. And after the game, reaction from President Donald Trump. Trump writing on Twitter, "What an amazing comeback and win by the Patriots. Tom Brady, Bob Kraft, and Coach B are all total winners. Wow." I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Great sports news there. Now, student athletes across the territory can take their game to another level, and that's thanks to a generous donation of top-end athletic shoes courtesy of the Atlanta Hawks NBA team and Orlando-based nonprofit Gemini Foundation. 15 students on St. Croix representing Central High School, St. Croix Educational Complex, and Good Hope Country Day School, and 15 students on St. Thomas representing Charlotte Amalie High School, Ivana Udorican High School, and UVI received the gently used sneakers in sizes 13 to 16. According to Peter Seipel, the Department of Education Territorial Director of Athletics, the sizes are generally difficult to come by the territory with the quality required for students to perform well on court. The sneakers will be put to good use and give the students a chance to perform at their best potential on the basketball court. The donation was made possible through the support of local radio personality and philanthropist Rashidi Clemens. Good job, Rashidi. St. Croix Track Club, the Mustangs, they competed well at the AAJI Youth Imperial Track and Field for 14 to 19-year-olds in Barceloneta, Puerto Rico this past weekend. The event hosts over 732 athletes in 2-year age groups, and the St. Croix team took 12 athletes hoping to gain much needed competition and experience. Those athletes were Anelia Ostry, Crystal Gordon, McKaylee Smith, Gregory Gibson, Valence Modeste, Inari Wilkinson, Zhejiang Washington, Genesia Jacenia Twitts, and Stephanie Matthew, Danielle Joseph, Brianna Bruce, and Layla Brown. Mustangs won a total of 5 gold, 2 silver, and 1 bronze. And the most outstanding athlete was Anelia Ostry, who placed first in both the high jump and the triple jump. Congratulations to our athletes doing some big things in Puerto Rico, representing St. Croix very well. Stick around, much more straight ahead. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way.
And some moisture is heading our way. I mean, typical for this time of year as we get those straight winds from the east and they move towards the west. They bring a little bit of that moisture and a few passing showers. And with that, we can see the few passing showers just towards the west, and we'll continue that way, but mainly clear with a few spotty showers. They don't last more than 5 minutes, to tell you the truth. Now for tonight, look at those conditions. 74 degrees will be our overnight low. A few showers here and there, and like I just mentioned, they don't even last more than 5 minutes. So if you have plans for tonight, don't change them. Just take your umbrella with you. Now for St. John's, look at those tomorrow's temperatures. Almost in the mid-80s, 84 degrees, a spotty shower here and there, but you'll have a mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow. Another spotty showers for St. Thomas, 84 degrees again. It's a mixture between sun and clouds and a few passing showers that they don't even last more than 5 or 6 minutes. For St. Croix, 86 degrees and the same weather story with a few spotty showers. Here's our marine forecast. Small craft, use some caution, especially if you're a beach goer. Be careful because the seas can be a little bit choppy. Waves between 3 to 5 feet. Wind from the east between 10 to 15 knots. Now here's our another marine forecast for the Caribbean. We have a small craft, 3 to 6 feet, and the wind is from the east between 10 to 15 miles per hour. With our extended forecast for your Wednesday, same story, a few passing showers. Other than that, it will be a gorgeous midweek. For your Thursday, 84 degrees. Friday will continue the same weather pattern. A few passing showers here and there. Other than that, we'll be on the dry side. Now, back to you, Sandy.
Thank you for that. Time for our News to Weather picture there by Delilah Saldana of Ricardo Richards Elementary School, expecting a nice, bright, sunny outlook for the week. Delilah, thank you for that. Can't miss your little sunshine there in the corner. Be sure to send us your weather picture to the address right there on the screen, and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for this edition. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Luman saying have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.